Alright, we are back with more Factorio. Here we go. I am Pax. We are continuing here with our playthrough of Factorio Space Age. Yes, and the last time we finished up here on Aquilo, we got our first fusion reactor here going and ramped up on our production, especially of the quantum processors. And we're getting our fusion production spread out across the galaxy, getting some fusion plants back to Novice. And we also started maybe trying to build some foundation, but we do need to get the stone over here. And there's a small issue with the stone on Novice. So actually I'm going to change this to just be, give me that stone from Volcanus. There's tons and tons of stone over here, so I can maybe just make sure there's a bit more, but should not be any problem getting stone from Volcanus instead. We want to kind of just clean up a little bit and get out of here, so I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the main system here and only really bring down what we need since there's only so much room. And we also want to put stone on the network so we can get rid of the rocket fuel instead. Just have that be stone, and there's already a spot for the stone on the cars, and that's all we will need for the foundation. And we also want to export the quantum chips here. So let's grab those and make some stockpile there. Okay, looking good, looking good. And this little port over here needs heat pipe connection. Okay. We are still trying to produce our stack inserters, but there's a problem in that, yes, this really needs to say any quality of stack inserter there. That should be good, because we put that filter there because of the spoilage, but we also want the higher quality stack inserters. So that should hopefully restore that. We are trying to get out of here, so I want to free my bots. So the free construction bots and the logi bots there, and just put the rest of my stuff into storage here. Let's see if I can catch a ride on outer transport when it gets back. It's stuck at Aquilo, I mean at Bulgora, because of waiting on stuff, but this one should have no stringent wait conditions, and so it should wait for me once it gets here. And I think also you're messed up because, yeah, I did ask for these modules, but a lot of them aren't available, and I have all requests satisfied. So I want this one to do all requests satisfied, so I'm gonna take the modules off. And also I think there was, yes, this gun turret is messed up. This inserter was putting ammo back on the belt, so don't want that to happen. So that should be okay though. And otherwise, I think we're looking pretty good. We can check out Novice now, and I think we built all these rocket silos. Yeah, but these ones are missing some inserters over here and over here, and power pole. Yes. And the stone I was going to, yeah, I think I'm going to, again, I think remove the idea of the sacred path, at least in some places, and especially in front of my train tracks, and actually use the sacred path now for, oh, this one's not even right. I'm going to use the sacred path for belt logistics more and more, because, well, there's less space here now. With the new rails, the turns get wider, and so my train station got wider, and so there's not as much room to do belt logistics anymore. But I think I'm going to use the sacred path for belt logistics from now on, or at least, I don't care, I think it's better. So we're going to be doing this and getting more stone into here, and then we want to just turn all of this red so we can get more stone into the base, and we'll turn all these to storage chests as well. Okay, that should be good with the stone. And what we want to do on Novice is try to get more quality stuff. And our main goal today is to continue building our quality spaceship. And our main bottleneck is going to be getting the low density structure. But we should be turning out like tons of plastic. And we have lots of quality plastic being made. And so we want to just kind of speed this up a bit with a better beacon. And then we also need more LDS upcycling. So I'm going to copy this. And let's see, let's move this roboport. Maybe just put it right there. Because we will want, I guess, another one of these essentially. So that's one thing. Let's see, fix this up. Not super urgent right now to have this, but this will be for the legendary LDS. So then this will be legendary plastic. This will be legendary as well. So then we want more of this. I think I'll just put it over here then. And we want, let's see, more storage for copper. So I'm going to copy this by hold shift down. It's going to make it a blueprint, and I'm going to parameterize the blueprint and make plastic the parameter. And this way we should be able to push it down, and it pops up and we can just switch it to copper very easily. Okay, this should help with the LDS upcycling speed, and we probably need to request more plastic over here. Well, so shouldn't be a problem. We have lots and lots of plastic, just need to upcycle it a little bit faster, and should be cranking it out pretty much all out. And then we also want to speed up this stuff over here, so we're going to do the same kind of thing with better beacons and better modules. Even maybe put the better productivity modules in here. We need more copper upcycling as well, so we essentially maybe want to copy one of these. There we go. Copy this, parameterize it, make this the parameter. I think the rest we'll just do later. Maybe have it right here. So it should be fine to go like this. So this will be copper cables. And we'll do it a second time. And we also need to upcycle the quality module tier 1s. So let's see, that greater than 400 is good. For the copper cables, let's do more like 4,000. And 20 probably is not enough, so let's just do 200. That should be good. Upcycling, more copper. And yeah, there's lots and lots in there, so we need to speed it up. Yeah, and this one's going at almost 50 per second, and I think that's going to be more than the inserter can handle, so let's see if we can get a better, higher quality, yeah, epic inserter for this. There we go. And the other things we want to do are, we still want to upcycle a few more things, so let's copy this one with this shift. Turn it into a blueprint. We're going to parameterize it. Make gears a parameter, and iron will be ingredient of gears. We'll try this. And what we want to do is put some upcycling stuff over here. So let's do this. And this one will be for electric engines. And we'll have another one. I'm going to H it right here. And this one will be for flying robot frames. And let's see, we need to get some lube in here, so let's do this. This is fine. 400 is probably too high, so let's say 200. 200. And we're going to be requesting, so we need to copy paste this to request the right ingredients. Let's make it a little bit higher than that though. Alright, and so this will be upcycling for the engines. So we actually want to change this to engines, uncommon engines greater than just 500. Then we'll upcycle it into the electric engine units. And similarly, we will copy paste here. And we want to make this one electric engine unit upcycling. So when the electric engines are greater than 500, we'll turn it into flying robot frames. And we should have the pod modules coming, hopefully, and the quality modules. Shouldn't be a problem, I hope. cranking them out, cranking them out. Maybe we are low on the quality, tier 3 quality models? Yeah, kind of. So let's just put the regular ones in here. For now, at least. Okay, and this should all hopefully help with our production of the spaceship parts that we need. I also need to put on here some uncommon pipe production just in case we need those. So let's do that. And we have our beacon here. And so we should be cranking out everything and being able to produce pretty regularly our higher quality material. I also wanted to, let's see, so our main goal today will be to start building our upcycling machine using the oxide asteroid reprocessing. And so we want to try a couple of different methods. I need to grab a couple of selector combinators to get out here, and I also want to start the nuclear power plant, so we can just hand feed those uranium fuel cells there to get the power plant started. We're looking pretty good in terms of the ship being almost ready to go. So we're about ready for that, and hopefully we can get another rocket ready. And I would like to get on the rocket and get out of here, so let's just turn it off for 5 seconds so I don't miss it again. Okay, and then I wanted to build over here on our make everything machine as well is the, let's add a new section here. And we'll just say we want I want these uncommon steam turbines and the heat exchangers. Uncommon 25. And I think we can make some of these as well, so that way we have at least uncommon nuclear power plant for our spaceship here. We have already the reactors, and so we can upgrade the rest of the nuclear plant there. Kind of running out of the tungsten, so we need to get out here and get another tungsten mine online. That is actually what we're going to do next. So we're going to try to fly to Vulcanus here. And, well, we'll also want to go there so that way we can build our legendary base. And so once we get our legendary collector spaceship up and running, we'll be doing the asteroid upcycling to get us a lot of legendary base material. And then we'll go to Vulcanus to flesh out our legendary production of basically everything and start sending that across the galaxy here, across the solar system, I guess. Alright, back on Aquila transport here. I mean, outer transport. This is outer transport. So we can turn this off, and I'll click on drop to a planet Vulcanus, so that way we'll drop down once we arrive. And you should go Gleba Vulcanus Novis Fulgora Aquilo. Yes, that's the loop on Aquilo. I want you to be automatic again. Okay, so then let's go to our collector ship. And you still need, yes, a lot more of the asteroid collector production things here, but I want to do a couple of experiments first. So let's move this down a bit and show you what I mean. And yes, so the idea here is we are going to be essentially trying to upcycle the asteroids, and the point is that you can use these reprocessing recipes and have quality modules in your asteroid collectors, and this actually returns more asteroids, but we have a chance of upgrading their quality every time. And in this case we get an 80% chance of getting the asteroid back, or a different kind, and so that's much better than the odds of a recycler giving you quality back, because it's only 25%. And so doing the asteroid processing is actually a much better way of getting quality material for legendary stuff. So I want to build a system for at least loading it. Oops, not like that though. Let's try it again. And so this will be a filter for the different kinds of asteroids. So let's just say that this is metallic. And what I want to do is connect it to here and read the belt contents, all belts, and just say only enabled if we have more than, let's say 20. And so we'll do that for here, and we'll say carbonic, and we'll make you the oxide one. Oxide. Should also say the right thing. Carbonic, oxide, yes. All right, and then we'll kind of shove all this onto the belt here. And like this. Let's see, hopefully more belts are coming. Some are coming, so we'll just wait. All right, so we're gonna read belt contents here, and here we're gonna say enabled. So we basically want to make sure that it's not completely full. So I'm gonna say that everything is less than just, let's say 10 for now. Okay, so hopefully that gets finished. Maybe I can just reduce this for a second. Let's add this thing to this one. Generally, like, one way of doing it would just be I have to like set every recipe, and then I would have to set every recipe for every quality and have things at different ratios and have, you know, tons of machines like operating like this. But of course, like, depending on the supply, it's going to not use every machine all the time, or like I have to find like the perfect ratio and get lucky. But there's an alternative idea, which is to use the set recipes on the asteroid collectors. And so if we just stick the green wire here, let's say, and we set recipes, we can try to dynamically decide what recipe should be set and utilize more of the throughput of all these asteroid collectors. So that's kind of the strategy. And so the general idea is that we're going to just read what's on the belt and try to turn the asteroid collector on based on whatever passes by. But we can also, once the inserter picks it up, we also want it to just say what's in the inserter's hand. That's another idea. So we're going to do both. So we're going to read from just this one tile of belt. Oh gosh. Why? Okay, it started wrong, so let's hold on. Quality transfer. So we're going to use these combinators here to do quality transfer. And we already have it messed up with too much junk, so I need to get rid of it. All right. Blacklist all qualities of asteroids. And dump them into space. Oh, okay, we've arrived to Volcanus, so we're jumping down. Very nice. Hello, back to Volcanus. Let's see, how is science doing? All right, we've arrived. Okay, hey, we're back. Hey. Let's see, let's get some more stuff going here in terms of science. Plastic productivity will be helpful. Spider captivity eventually. Maybe more mining productivity. More of this would be good. More LDS. All these things are, yeah, we want to really start working on these infinite technologies for productivity. That's also going to greatly help our ability to produce legendary material. So we'll just do this, I guess. Okay, so yeah, so then the point was really, now if I do it correctly, we can see when an asteroid comes by. Essentially, we want to transfer into the recipe, and we'll use the selector combinator to do the quality transfer. And for this to work, we would need to also pass into the selector combinators a signal. So we'll do this and pass in these reprocessing recipes. So reprocessing, and then we want a quality transfer from any asteroids that pass by onto metallic asteroid reprocessing, right? And then any carbonic asteroid, we want to pass the quality into the carbonic, and same thing, any oxide asteroid that passes by, we want to pass the quality onto the oxide reprocessing recipe. So we should see that, yeah, once some things go by, and it kind of worked for a hot second, but it is blinking on and off, which is a little tricky because I think what's happening is like it's getting conflicting messages. And so the next alternative is actually to also pass in the ingredients. So we're actually going to say read contents and connect this as well. And this is a little bit dangerous because, well, that's exactly why. Oh yeah, so it's also because I need this green wire here. Yes, there we go. Should be better now. So we saw that it accidentally did the asteroid crushing recipe instead of the reprocessing recipe. And that's because that's what it'll default to if it just sees the asteroid signal. And since it's plugged into itself, essentially it sort of sees it for a second, but gets overridden and switches, and so it should be a little more consistent this way. And also it will stay stable longer. It doesn't look like it right now, but generally it should be a bit better. I'm gonna cut them and paste them back so they reset, and so we can tell how many products they finished over time and see which one does better. We're both struggling really right now. Oh, this is why. This is wrong. This needs to say read hand contents. That's going to make a huge difference. There we go. Okay, there we go. That's much more reasonable. Okay, so we'll see the difference when we have the actual crusher connected or not. And so basically it should reduce the downtime if the crusher's connected, because it will stay on the same recipe for longer. Okay, but then we see that we've needed basically 3 different selector combinators for doing this. And I went on Reddit and I learned a new trick for doing this, and so I'll kind of walk through it because it's actually a super useful kind of trick to reduce the number of combinators we need and to select whatever kind of recipe we want. And so we're going to start with this constant combinator that has the recipes that we want. But this time what we're going to do is give each one a unique ID. And so these are actually the numbers down here you can think of as the recipe ID. So we can go through and give every recipe that we might want a unique ID here. Each one needs to be different is the key. So we would do this for every single one. So I'm going to kind of set this up a little bit differently. Let's say we only select less than or equal to uncommon quality just for now. And we're going to do a very similar thing. So we're going to read the belt. So let's just copy paste. And we're going to read hand contents. We're going to plug this into our decider combinator. And this time what we're going to do is use the decider combinator to select our recipe for us. So we'll say like, okay, if we see the metallic asteroid greater than 0, and we see basically each equal to the metallic asteroid reprocessing ID. And so since each of these have a unique ID, that's only going to put out one thing. We want to isolate also the channels. And so this will be a condition where only if the asteroid chunk is greater than 0, or are we going to output the metallic asteroid processing ID. And so we also want to say each over here. So you can see that this blinks on every now and then once this turns on. And so we just need to make a condition like this for each thing, each object, and each type of object. So we'll just say carbonic greater than 0, then carbonic reprocessing, or no, sorry. Each equals, then the carbonic reprocessing, then similar for oxide, greater than 0, each equals. Okay. So now we should be able to do any of the different types. And then, yeah, we would just keep going for now higher quality things. So if we wanted the uncommon ones, we have to do uncommon. And then we say each equals to the uncommon processing recipe, right? And we would keep going. So let's just finish off with doing the uncommon, so uncommon oxide. And each equal to the uncommon carbonic reprocessing. So now this is a way then we can put all these relations between which type of object and which recipe we want into a single combinator. And so we would just have to enumerate every possible recipe and essentially the conditions for triggering those recipes. And then we just have to list all these recipes here with a unique ID. So let's see if this works. See some action for this. And essentially then just need to connect here and say set recipe. We also want to read contents eventually. So we have the same kind of thing. And now we can see we have just one combinator we need for doing it. And again, we have another similar issue with, we can also make it a little bit better by reading the contents from the machine and plugging those in. But again, it has that risk of running the wrong thing, but as long as it's working, it should be fine. So we can also then just see if there's a difference here in the comparison in terms of how much uptime are we getting from these different methods where we read in the value or not. And so if we look back at our old method, you see this one's done 183 and this one's done 223. So because we've added this connection, it allows it to linger and we get more uptime. So this is improving our uptime use, and so we'll get more asteroid reprocessing if we do this. So there we go. Okay, and let's see here. We want to pull off any legendary items, so let's just separate it out with the legendary carbonic and the legendary, we'll do metallic next, and then oxide last, like this. Alright, so we'll start stockpiling our legendary material right here. Let's see, is there much of a difference between these? Probably not too much, but ultimately there's a great thread about this on Reddit, and this is where I got the idea from to begin with. And so here we're going to basically just paste down this optimal one, and I think the only difference is now that there's actually just the green wire here instead of it all being the red wire. And so for some reason it's slightly better if the read belt contents goes directly into the crusher. And so we can see what they say about it in the blueprint. So thanks Zig 1000 and King. Yes, so optimize the throughput by preventing the recipe from switching, and we isolate the own inventory from the belt wire, and this tricks the inserter, which is then overridden. So basically, yeah, like this little subtle trick makes it slightly better, but basically it's the same idea. And now we just have all the recipes all the way up to legendary potentially, and here we have all the recipes listed that we want, and in this case we're not going to do any legendary, so the legendary values are negative. That way we'll never pick these up, and we'll do all the upcycling up into the epic reprocessing. Yes, so this is generally what we're going to do. So I'm going to make a copy of this and paste it down, and then we want to connect the wires. Yes, very good. Okay, now we're talking, and let's see, how are we looking here? Maybe it's time to just start moving a little bit. So it will be helpful to get more asteroids if we start moving. So let's make a little trip to Volcanus. I also realize I want to have more engines back here, so let's lay this out a little bit. And we'll drag the fuel pipes out here as well. So next time we get back to Novice, it should be okay with that. Okay, so we have our reprocessing plan, and basically we want to do this design and lay it out and have just like a gigantic mess of these guys. So I'm going to move this down further and just try to take up as much space as I can, having these asteroid reprocessing. And I'm copying it in pairs just so this wire continues down with me. And we can just kind of try to squeeze in as many of these as possible. So this looks pretty good. So we'll just keep going here. Okay, something like that. We can just go ahead and do that. And the rest of this. We're out of belts. That's fine though. And let's see, we want to maybe go up. So where's the middle of the ship? So maybe like here we go up. I think that's the middle, right? And then we would come back down. Okay, so maybe it's fine to move that over a little bit. So maybe it should be like this then. So let's say it's like that, and so all of this will just go over one tile. Okay, we'll do that. Connect it up here. Go around here, kind of come back this way. And maybe this. That's good. Alright, and similarly, bring it back this way. Don't forget the wire, need the wire. Okay. Like that. That looks pretty good. And then finally, bring it all the way back around. All the way to there, I guess. Looks pretty solid. Alright, so then, but then we need this combinator thing right here. So we want to make sure all the wires know about the right recipes. So that should be good there. Gonna bridge this gap. Should be good there, all that's connected. And we need one up here. This, I guess. That should be fine. Got one legendary. We need more belts. We're here at Volcanus, so should have lots of belts. Alright, there's a bunch of belts coming. Perfect. So let's head back to Novice when you can. Alright, we're getting a lot of upcycling already. Looking pretty good. So let's look at our experiment again. 374 versus 462. So pretty good amount in terms of using these speed contents. Here, it doesn't seem to matter as much, but I think we'll just continue with the Reddit version just because it seems pretty well tested. And so let's get then the last couple, maybe just here. And kind of want to maybe move this to here. We're heading back to Novice, so we should creep along over there. How fast are we going? Only 125, yeah, that's not very fast. But shouldn't be a problem. Do we need more ammo? Yeah, maybe it's a pretty big belt, so I'm gonna put more ammo out there. And looks like our material is fine, our production looks pretty good. Okay, yeah, we see, yeah, we've already got a pretty good amount of legendary material here, so our gamble-tron is coming to life. Very good. I did want to also upcycle steel, so maybe we should do that. So we can do this again. Shift, parameter, ingredient, check, save. I guess just put it right here. So we want to upcycle steel, so this should be steel chest. Should be fine. This looks like it's working, maybe? Yes, good. Alright, we should be arriving here back to Novice pretty soon and getting the rest of our material. But I guess we can start to build out the next thing. Let me just get rid of this for a sec though. So generally then the plan is to take some asteroid crushers and do some more crushing. Okay, yes, to here. Then we'll have another crusher here, and want to make it legendary. So this is going to be how we make legendary calcite. So we're going to make the oxide asteroids into calcite. And so we need this feedback thing here. We need this. And essentially then we need to output the legendary calcite. So that will be here. And we're going to put it into the hub, of course, like this. We're going to say basically only work if legendary calcite legendary is less than, say, 500. Okay, that's going to be how we get legendary calcite, and of course this produces the legendary ice, but that we're going to just throw overboard because it doesn't do anything for us. So goodbye to the legendary ice here. There we go. There we go. That way. Okay, and oops, this needs modules. Pod modules. Okay, so we want as good modules as we can have there, and then we'll do basically the same thing. All right, let's move this where I wanted it. Okay, should be okay. Nothing broke, right? Yeah, so we still need a lot more of the crushers, but we should see more stuff going on. We can make this a lot higher, like 100. And also then, let's copy this whole thing and do it again over here. Shift is fine. Yeah. Alright, that looks good. Okay, we're flying back to Volcanus now, which is fine, I think, because we don't have the crushers anyway. But we also want to just get some asteroids coming. So we need to move around a little bit for that. Got our engines at least. Okay, should be going much faster now. How fast do we want to go? 200. That's probably fine, I guess. This is going now. Okay, good. All right, this one we want to make. So we could make copper ore, but we don't really need copper because we're going to use what they call the LDS shuffle to make copper, and so we want to make as much iron as possible. So we're going to use the regular metallic asteroid crushing recipe. We again want to have this feedback loop, and one trick with the feedback loop is inserters generally take on the inside lane as higher priority than on the outside lane, but if we just rotate the belt here at the end, then the outside lane will be higher priority for this inserter, and that will actually give us priority on the feedback asteroids here, so that way we won't ever backlog. So we're going to do that again for the metallic ones, and we're going to just dump the legendary iron ore into the system over here like this. So we'll need another inserter here, and again we'll just say make sure you stop when there's really like 5,000 legendary iron ready. Okay, and so we can hook this up. So we'll see it going a little bit, and this needs to say legendary. There we are. Okay, modules. And the last thing we want to do is of course, the coal. And so something like this is the idea. We're going to need both of them this time. So we want the advanced recipe. And of course we want modules in it. And put modules, and this will be the regular recipe. And if we could get some better modules, that would be wonderful. So we're going to ask for some better ones. Struggling with the oxidizer, but it's because of water. So maybe I need to put more ice on here. So let's maybe do 150. And so let's move this to the other side for one. And we'll have the uranium thing over here. Yeah, let's make this one 200. Okay, that might be hurting my water is why. Alright, heading back to Namas now. Okay, so yeah, let's continue with this. So the idea then is, of course, we want to do the coal synthesis. So we need the sulfur and the carbon. And of course, we want to do legendary coal synthesis. And we need water then, so we're just going to make water here from regular ice. Crusher over here somewhere. Alright, let's just do this. Okay, so this will just put ice into, and let's see, for this we would want this feedback loop here, but we need it to be on the other side, so I'm going to reroute this belt over here like this. Just do this. And okay, there we go. Something like that. It's maybe a little better. Put solar panels back here or something. Alright, okay. So we're heading back to Novice. We need a bit more stuff anyway, so let's also just chill there for a while. We'll just say passenger present. And hopefully we have more crushers and more everything, really. Alright, we need prod modules there. And we need this here, so we're going to be putting the coal out. We're going to be accepting the coal and putting it onto the station hub. So we'll do this. Enable if then legendary coal is less than, let's say, 2,000. Yeah, maybe we'll make this even higher. 8,000. Something like that. And okay, so we have the water from the ice, which is no big deal. We need some long-handed inserters. And then here's where we need all the trickery. So we need the legendary sulfur and the legendary carbon to go in. And you also need the legendary carbon to go in, but we want to prioritize this carbon. So what I'm going to do is put a constraint here. So we're going to read contents of the chemical plant, which will tell us how much carbon is there, and not the in-crafting, but and then we'll say this is only enabled if the amount of legendary carbon is less than 5, let's say. So that way this one will put all of its carbon on and it will work, but there's more sulfur that this produces than carbon, so we need extra carbon. So that's why we have this one, but we always want to prioritize the other one. Yes, very good. Something like that. And then basically we want to grab here and output the byproducts or the recycled asteroid chunk if that happens. Like this. This should say also be legendary. Just make sure everything's correct here. So this needs to be legendary. Okay, and basically we need to like kind of loop this around so that way we can make sure all the asteroid chunks are recycled. And the priority shouldn't be a problem other than with this constraint there. So we have the water, good. And we have some of the modules, not really all the modules though. Got some more inserters coming, and only 6 crushers on the planet, unfortunately. So what's going on? Where are they getting built? Oh, they are getting built here. They are. So hopefully we get a few more. Enough for another rocket and crank out the last couple. Oh yeah, there's a bunch coming, should be. So should see another round of them coming here pretty soon. 7, 8, 9, 10 maybe coming. 4. Okay, must be filling up a rocket. Alright, we're cranking out through some of the science. I'm not like paying attention to it too closely, but yeah, we need to always keep an eye on the agricultural science. Alright, so finally I think we can maybe unleash then the coal here. Should be ready. We do have the prod modules there. And of course we want more asteroid productivity. That's also going to be a big help in terms of making the legendary material. Alright, so we should see this one back up now that this is off. And this is cranking it out. And we should see a bunch of them go. And so since we have all this extra sulfur, yes, it looks like it's working. So we have 4 sulfurs and then even more sulfur back here. So we're going to run out of coal, but now we're taking it from the second one. So that's how we're going to keep as much coal production as possible. And of course we need like better modules and better quality modules, but all that's going to be getting upgraded here soon enough. So we're back at Novice, and we do have some of these coming, so hopefully we can get the last few pretty soon. There we go. There's another round getting built. Very nice. All right. Very good. Okay. Well, maybe we just keep going around in circles now, because we got our last round of these. I could try to... Yeah, let's maybe upgrade this in case next time we come by, we can grab these better nuclear power buildings and get a little bit more power out of our nuclear power plant. We're going to actually probably need it because these do take up a lot of electricity. And maybe shove some more solar panels down in some places. There. Let's see, also maybe some more accumulators. Alright, we're flying around the solar system again. Very good. That's fine. Yeah, we could put a lot of solar panels down here. Fill in this empty space a little bit. Sure, sure. Very good. Okay, so this is now our legendary collector spacecraft. Yes, we've devised a system for dynamically allocating the crusher recipes to whatever the crusher picks up, essentially. And this way, the recipes will stay balanced between whatever's being supplied, and we'll use as much throughput as possible on all of our crushers. And so we should see quite a bit of legendary material start to get into our system now, and we've already produced like a good amount of iron and a little tiny bit of coal and calcite, but that's actually probably a lot compared to how much other legendary material we've produced so far, and we're just barely getting this thing ramped up. So the plan will be that this spaceship will fly around the solar system and collect the legendary resources for us, and we might have it do some other basic logistics, like it could probably grab modules for us and bring some other material around if we so desire. So that's gonna be the plan. We don't need this anymore. And yeah, kind of want to see it in action a little bit more. We're waiting actually on the circuit condition, which needs more oxidizer fuel. So we're still kind of struggling with enough oxidizer fuel, but really shouldn't be a problem, I don't think. Just should have plenty of ice. Could put even more ice on here, I guess. Maybe go full 200. And let's make this 300. Okay, well, let's see. We can switch science up a little bit. We still also want more productivity researches, and the asteroid productivity is going to be a big help for getting more legendary stuff. Okay, yes, but I think then we're pretty much done with our session. And yeah, we have a new beautiful collector spaceship here. And kind of want to watch it ramp up maybe one more time. And let's see, could probably want even more stuff on here as well. Like, I could put another one of these over here. So let's make one of them like carbon. I think there's a lot more metal and carbon in the inner solar system than oxide, so add an extra one of these. Yes, so we should see it ramp up again with lots of asteroids coming, hopefully. Should be flying through the planets a bit more efficiently, more quickly. Yeah, I was still having a hard time keeping up with the oxidizer though. Okay, yes, very nice. So is Novice building more? Yes, kind of. We still need more of the crushers, but hopefully Novice has the capacity to build them. So we have our make everything machines and all of this upcycling going pretty strong now. Still cranking out all the plastic, and we were kind of bottlenecked on the LDS, so it's still probably the bottleneck, but we should be producing it pretty reliably, the rare quality. And just trying to get enough of everything. Let's see, I need more iron. Yes, okay, so we need more iron. That's the other thing I forgot. So we'll upgrade the iron quality here. And we can do it here even. Let's do it here. So we need the quality machine. Let's do that. Let's also make it a active provider chest. There. We'll make that active provider chest. Get rid of some of these. Cool, okay. How are we doing? Out of glava. Yeah, just kind of struggling to produce this fast enough, but it's a little bit surprising. I mean, there's lots of ice on the belt. Doesn't seem like there's still enough ice is the issue, really. So maybe I'll just up it one more time. Let's go 250. So just more ice, please. Seems like all we need. Hopefully, yeah, we're producing kind of enough iron. 7, 9. Could make this go a little bit faster, maybe. I did this. Alright, we see more legendary iron being produced here. See some legendary coal being produced. That's pretty good. Saw legendary calcite go just a second ago too. Cool, yeah, I already have almost 1,000 iron and 35 coal. 52 calcite there. Pretty good. Alright, on our way to Fulgora. Looking nice. So we should see the asteroids start to ramp up again. Also, we really want to put more, yeah, we want to put more on the belt here. That's going to help. So let's make these numbers a lot higher. Well, a lot more negative, I guess. Okay, there we go. Now we should see asteroid collectors collecting here. Very good. And we're still not going fast enough. Oh, now it is bottlenecked by iron. Okay, so let's up the iron too then. Just go straight to 250. It's fine. Make sure that these are high enough. 300. Alright. We're kind of just stuck here in the middle of space now, but oh well. Cool, cool. Alright. I would like to see us get back to Novice, and let's see, are there hopefully more of these asteroid collectors being produced? Oh, we're actually bottlenecked by the electric engine units now. It's okay, it's okay. Oh yeah, this was also, this needs to be sped up a lot. I meant to put beacons here. So we don't want the beacon to touch the recycler. I'm actually going to have 2 of them, because this is actually a good way of upcycling for electric engines, but it's very slow, so more beacons will be good. Okay, maybe. There we go. Cranking this stuff out faster than we can recycle it, I guess. It's all good. Okay, we're almost to full Gora now. Kind of, maybe. At least we're hopefully producing this a little bit better. Okay, we made it to full Gora. Cranking out the stuff. Alright, it's looking pretty good now. Looking pretty good. Lots of stuff on here. Let's see, I want to put a combinator here, just so I can connect this to here. So I can see what's on the belt now. By highlighting the combinator, we can see belt contents there on the bottom right. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Getting pretty full, but I think the constraint, yeah, make sure it doesn't overfill, which is critical. It's gonna be hard to get us to overfill because this is a big sink, so should be fine, should be fine. Okay, we're still at Fulgora. Let's see. Do we have any more crushers? 6. We actually have 4 epic ones. That's kind of interesting. But I would like more of them. Probably doesn't really matter if I upgrade this, but maybe it's time. And I think, yeah, we're just kind of maybe lacking the electric engines as well now. Yeah, trying to build some more engines, build more electric engines. And this is not really going. Yeah, we sped up our upcycling, so that's going to also help. Yeah, that was probably holding us back. Cool, okay, now we're finally heading back to Novice, so let's just see if we get any more material from Novice here. And I could, I guess. How many do we have? We have 4 epic ones, so let's actually ask for those. Give me 4 epic with a minimum payload of 4 from Novice. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Still struggling with the oxidizer, but I don't know why it shouldn't be really a problem. This is going a little better. Maybe this. Okay, I'm getting back to novice now. Very good. Looking pretty solid here. Dropping down some modules. Transferring some modules, I guess. And so this is coming, I think. It looks like it's coming, yes. We're getting the rest of our power plant. That's good. More, the Module 3s are coming. That's also good. The uncommon quality Module 3s. That will help a bit, yes, for this. Let's put them in here as well. Honestly, just put them all over the place if we can. Nice. Very nice. Okay, working through some of the last researches here. There we go. Got our epic one. Let's see, it doesn't have any quality modules, which is kind of a problem. Yes, we do need these. And I sent them down. I saw them come down, but more coming back. I think that's okay. Hopefully they get here soon. There's some more modules. And hopefully our quality modules are coming. Yes. We didn't get any more collectors though. Cool, but I think then, yes, we are at a stopping point. And everything's looking pretty good with our collector here. So we now have our legendary collector ship running around, and it's grabbing asteroids for us and using the asteroid reprocessing to upcycle them to legendary quality. And we developed this system for dynamically allocating the collectors, so that way we can make the most of the throughput that we have. And then we just do a couple extra steps to get the base material of coal and iron ore and calcite. And soon we'll be using this base material to flesh out our legendary Volcanus production facility here in the next session. But I think we'll call it here. There you go, Factorio. I am Pax, and I will see you in the next video.